Hello everyone, I'm Michaela Kathleen and I'm here today with a little book unhaul. I have not done an unhaul since the very beginning of my channel, like 2 years ago, but there were finally a few books recently that I decided I'm going to unhaul. So the first one was the first 3 books in the Maximum Ride series by James Patterson. I actually had this on my TBR over on my reread shelf. I read these a few years back because I was very interested in the concept of people with wings who can fly, and I did enjoy reading the series, but there are more than 3 books and I only ever read the first 3. And so recently I was gonna reread them and decide whether or not I wanted to keep them, and I thought there was a pretty good chance that I wouldn't want to keep them, but I wanted to give them a reread first. But then yeah, it came time to reread them and I didn't want to. I remember enjoying the first one pretty well, but from there I know I didn't really enjoy the next 2 very much, which is why I didn't get any more after that. And so with all of that, I decided that I just wanted to unhaul them because I'm never gonna own the complete series, I'm never gonna read the complete series, and I only moderately enjoyed the series, the 3 that I have in the first place. So I was like, it's just time to unhaul these. Next, I had another reread sitting on my TBR, and that was Replica by Lauren Oliver, which I've only read the first one. This is a duology, so I was gonna reread the first one and then read the sequel and then be done with the series. But again, it came time to reread this and I did not want to because I remember being so disappointed by this on the first read. I was kind of bored by it, and as I said, disappointed by it because the concept again was so cool. It is a story told from 2 different characters, and so you can read one character and then you flip the book over and the other character's story goes the other direction, and you can read them in whichever order you want. Or technically, if you want to do alternating chapters, you can, but it's not set up like that. So yeah, very cool way that the book is set up, very cool concept, and it just ended up disappointing me, and I would think I was actually kind of bored by it, so didn't really feel like rereading it, and I also didn't really feel like buying the next book. So instead, I'm gonna unhaul it. Next, I've had a couple of first-time reads recently, where at the end of it, I just decided I did not need to keep the book. So the first one there was The Second Blind Son by Amy Harmon, and this is a companion novel to The First Girl Child by Amy Harmon, which was my favorite new read of the year last year. It was 5 stars. I love that one so much. But this companion novel is basically just telling the same story that's in The First Girl Child, but from the perspective of a side character. So I got nothing new out of this book. It was pretty slow, and the main characters just had no effect on the plot, no agency, because again, this is a story that was already told in The First Girl Child. So I don't feel the need to hang on to The Second Blind Son. Next was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes, which I did enjoy reading this one, but I kind of thought about am I going to want to reread it when it comes time to read the sequel? And I don't think I really will, because it was okay, but not really something to reread. I am kind of curious to know what happens in the sequel, but I think just not enough to dedicate the time or the money to it. If I ever happen to see the sequel in a little free library or something, I'll probably pick it up, because I don't think I would have to reread the book in order to read the sequel, because I've seen the movie a few times and it stuck pretty close to the book, so I do think I'll be able to remember the story well enough. But yeah, I did have a review for this one in my last monthly wrap-up, and it basically boiled down to I didn't get that much more out of the book than I did out of the movie. And I own the movie, so I can see the story anytime. So I am unhauling this one. I did recently watch the movie for The Last Letter from Your Lover, which is another Jojo Moyes book that I have read, and for that one, the book is way better than the movie. There's so much left out of the movie, so that one is worth reading for sure. And then finally, among these kind of first-time reads that I decided to unhaul was The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. and I'm just not a super huge nonfiction memoir person, so this one I just feel like I got everything out of it that I needed on the first read. And then there was a book recently that's been sitting on my TBR for years and years and years that was going to be coming up soon that I had never read before, but I just decided that I don't think I need to read it, and that is 48 Days to the Work You Love. I think my mom got this from a coworker and then she gave it to me, and she gave it to me back when I was in college, so like the subject matter would have applied to me a little bit more back then, but I just never got around to reading it, and now I just don't really feel that I need to read it, so I decided to unhaul it. So yeah, this is a little stack of books that I have decided recently that I am going to unhaul. Let me know down below if you've had any unhauls recently, whether that be books that you just decided you would never read again, books that you decided you don't want to read a first time, or books that just didn't quite make the cut. Thanks for watching. Remember, words matter.